Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this second video, we are going to look into how we can interact with Microsoft Azure. So we are going to look into Microsoft Azure Portal, which is the web interface that we can use to interact with Microsoft Azure. We are going to also look into how we can use our CLI to connect into Microsoft Azure. So by the end of the video, you know so many ways or how you can connect into Microsoft Azure. So this is the second video of Azure for .NET Developer series that we are doing in this YouTube channel. And then if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more content on Microsoft Azure and .NET. So running your solutions with Microsoft Azure, you need to connect into the Azure itself. So how do you do that? That is what this video is all about. So what are some of the things that we need to master when it comes to CLI? We all know that CLI is when we launch our terminal and we work from there. So you can do that. We can deploy solution into Microsoft Azure using our CLI straightforward. And then we don't need to go into the web portal and configure things. So why is it that mastering the CLI is so much important in 2025? Because that is the simple way. We are already familiar with some, command line tools or some kind of CLI stuff. So if you have been working with .NET, you probably do .NET. Maybe if you are using Visual Studio Code, you do .NET New or Web API or something like that. So all these things are how you interact with the CLI. So why is this so important? Because it's easy. As a developer, you are familiar with these things already, and sometimes the web interface can be very confusing, and the CLI can just help you. So one thing is that from few hours of clicking to second command. So instead of you to go into your web portal and do stuff over there, you use the CLI with just few command, and then you have a service or you have resources working on Microsoft Azure. So what do you need to master when it comes to Azure, interacting with Azure? What are the things that you need to master? So the first one is the Azure CLI. So the CLI helps you to bring Azure into your local terminal, and then you'll be able to work with that. So you'll be able to interact with Azure like what you'll be doing in the web portal, which we're going to look into that. So it's very easy. Command line interface, you just run command to make things happen. And then there is two things here. So we have the Azure CLI and we have Azure Developer CLI. So this Azure Developer CLI is much focused on developers, and it helps you to deploy a solution. So we can think of Azure CLI as something that helps us to manage as Azure resource itself. We'll be able to create our resources. We'll be able to provision stuff, interacting with Azure itself. And for the developer CLI, when we build solution and then we want to then push it into Azure. So this is for developers to deploy solutions, right? To send solutions into Azure itself. So we can think of that is the two difference. The difference is that the CLI helps you to talk to Azure directly, and then the developer CLI helps you to basically deploy solutions into Azure. And then when we go into Azure Portal or even our terminal, we can also connect to Azure using the Azure Cloud Shell. And it's very easy. It's web-based. So we can then, in the Azure Portal, if you don't want to go through the web interface, we can then also connect to Azure using the Cloud Shell. And then the portal itself, that is what most people sometimes prefer, but it's a choice. You can use the CLI with a combination of the Azure developer, the developer CLI, and then you'll be able to do everything. If you like to visualize stuff, you then can also use the web portal. And what is the difference? So I've been talking about the developer CLI and then the Azure CLI. So let's look at the difference. One thing is that the Azure CLI, as I said, is the low level. It's help you to manage resource. So these are the things as we progress to the other series, the other videos in this series. These are the things you need to keep in mind. So the Azure CLI is the low level. It's help you to manage resources, right? So there is a command help you to create something on Azure instead of using the web portal, right? So we can think of it as we creating resources or managing resources as we can do with the web portal, right? But in this case, we are using the CLI to do this. And for the developer CLI, it's much focused on, developer, right? Developing cycle. So it's template based. So we can have a template that we want to, can help us to develop something. And I'm going to show you there was some Azure developer template hub where you can find a lot of templates based on what you are working on and what you want to, provision and send it into Azure. So let's look into this. One thing is that this is the Azure CLI. So it said Azure Web Create. So as I said, it's much of we creating something, right? Much of we creating. So the CLI is creating resources, and then the developer is that, hey, the resources is ready, let's push it into the Azure, right? So the developer one, we are sending it. So two CLIs, but one is creating a resource, which is the main Azure resource, CLI, and then the developer one is the, hey, let's create, provision it, or let's deploy it. And that is what we can think of, right? And that is, I'm giving you a tip here that when you are you are using .NET Aspire 2, you can also use deploy .NET Aspire 2 also to Azure with the developer CLI. And for the Cloud Shell, as I said, it's a web-based, and it helps you to also interact with Microsoft Azure in the web base, right? So you can also connect. I'm going to show you how you can also connect the Cloud Shell into your terminal also. So no installation. So if you want to have some kind of command interface like the CLI or something like that, you can also do it in the Cloud Shell. It's very easy to work with, very fast, and then you can use Bash, you can use PowerShell, and I'm going to show you all of this once we go to the demo session. And then most of the things, as I said, is required because if you are already logged in with Azure Portal, so no logged in required. There are certain things that you need to do, and then everything will be create for you. So you have a lot of things that is already configured for you, your sessions and everything. So the Cloud Shell helps you in the web base and for you to also interact with Azure. But for you're using the web base, you need to log in into the Azure Portal, and then you'll be having access to those things, right? Which I'm going to show you. So the essential CLI command for .NET developers, and this is basically .NET. So we are saying that this series is Azure for .NET, developers, and we are using .NET, and it can use any tool, right? So if you have not watched our introduction video, there's going to be a link in the description where you can go and then watch what this series is all about, and this is the second video. So for .NET developers, you might create an app service. So let's say we want to create an app service. So create something like that. We give it a name, and then you can see we are using the the Azure CLI. And the short form of the Azure CLI is AZ, right? So AZ creates, AZ do this, A do this, and then it will be doing it for you. Easy create a database and everything, and then need to be able to create and provision stuff for you without going to the portal. And this is very awesome thing that you can do if you don't want to go in the to the portal and stress yourself and everything. And then so there is a lot of workflow. So we can think of the CLI as when we are done creating the developer CLI, which is a AZD, right? So the CLI is AZ, and then the CLI, the developer CLI is also AZD, right? To do the deployment for us when we are done creating this, building. So we are creating the resources, and then we are done building our solution, and then we want to deploy. So we use the developer CLI to do that. So let's say we want to create a function. That is how it looks like. So this is how you might use the CLI to provision some resources on Microsoft Azure without going to the portal. And if this sounds, complicated, you are confused, you don't understand, don't worry, we're going to demonstrate all of this in this series. So that is one thing that you need to take note of. I'm just showing you this. As we move forward, we're going to learn all of this. So the Azure Portal integration is also web-based visual. So the web portal give you the overview of some of the services, how things look like and everything. So we're going to see all of these things where we can provision some services to do logs and everything for us. So it has an inbuilt terminal too, so like the Cloud Shell, right? It's in there, a building code and everything. You can also use Git integration. A lot of things are pre-installed, so it's web with everything that you need, right? That is the web portal, right? So this is how it look interesting when we talk of template. So let's go back to this. When we talk of the AZD template, there are certain things that we want to use a template to so this kind of concept of infrastructure as a code stuff, right? We have a template that contains everything we want, and then you can deploy. I'm going to show you that one too in here. So you can have a .NET, you can have a Power App, you can have Docker, and then there is a lot of templates that I'm going to show you where you can, some kind of AZD template that you can use. So in the real world scenario, you might have a quick deployment. So this is how you may do it: quick to do app, and then you want to send it into Azure. Very simple, using the command, the developer CLI. So this is also where you want to configure some stuff, and then this is where you want to set up some stuff. So you can always use the CLI to do things from your terminal without even looking into the portal, right? So best practice tip: make sure to use the AZ, make sure you do more configuration and everything. Take care of, because whenever you are doing stuff, make sure you take this notice, right? And use environment variable. Make sure you have good GitHub. So whenever you are using the developer CLI, make sure to follow all these practices and everything. So let's go, and I want to show you a demo on how the portal. Let's take a tour of the portal. So basically, this is how the portal look like, right? And to create Azure account is easy, and you need to follow steps. So when you can even search Microsoft Azure account, right? And then you follow the steps. So free, you create your free account. You don't need, what you need is your credit card. You can have a Visa card or MasterCard, and what it's going to do for you is that cloud is pay as you go. So your card sometimes is required for your that is, you need to have a subscription, right? So the subscription process is where your card needs to come in. So I'm not going to show you how to create an account because it's easy step that you need to follow right here. But so when you are done with your account, you're going to see something like, hey, you're welcome to Microsoft Azure, and this is the portal we have been talking about, right? It look good, it look nice, very easy to navigate around and very easy to use. So when you are here, there's a lot of things that you need to. So you might see all this message that, hey, you don't have a subscription, right? So we're going to look into what subscription is all about. So you need to have a subscription. And one thing that we stated is that, hey, when you start your Microsoft Azure journey, you're first going to have $200 free credit for you. So just use it. Hey, you have started Microsoft Azure for the first time, you're a new customer, and this is what we are giving to you. Use this for free, and it's very nice as you can use this to learn some of the services before you even get into your pay stuff. And some of the services also free for the first 12 months, right? So aside your $200 credit that you're going to have, you are also going to have some services which is going to be free for you in the first 12 months. And that is very, very, very good, because this can help you to learn and scale and everything. And then you also have the Microsoft Manage and Try ID, which we're gonna look into this in our, some of our upcoming videos, and how we can use this for authentication and everything. So the portal is very easy to navigate around. There is Copilot, right? That you can use Copilot to whenever you are learning something you don't understand, or whenever you are facing an issue, this Copilot can then help you to also figure things out, right? So how to create it, CLI screenshot and everything. So I can go and click on it like that, and then Copilot will try to give me a solution on that. So this is a GitHub, Azure Copilot, and I think it's good whenever you are stuck or you want to learn something about Azure. And this is the way. So you can see it's trying to say, hey, creating this, it's giving me solution of how to do things. So the Copilot can, if you are new and you don't know anything, the Copilot can be also be your starting points of asking, interact with Copilot, right? And this is how it look like. So some of the services is here. So some of the Azure services, virtual machine and everything, we're going to look into it, right? So whenever you see this, so we can go ahead and they say that, hey, Copilot, we want to close Copilot. So you can see we have some services like virtual machine. Don't worry about these services. As we go forward, I'm going to show you what. And but one thing is that you can put your mouse on it like that if you don't know what this service is all about, and then they give you a description of what this service is all about, right? And then it's some kind of a free resources that maybe you can also use to foster your learning and then get more familiar with something. So when you come to the Azure, here is search, and then you can see there is also search here where you can use. So you can see the search bar here, and which you can use to learn, right? You can use to learn stuff. So here you can search, right? So I can search for anything. So I can say that if I want to search for service, I can say app service, and then you see that app service is showing up, and I can click on it, and then I go in there and I say, hey, please below. And some of this, this is what I'm getting, right? Because mostly I don't have subscription in this. And then you give app service in here, and then I can say start with this, and it's still giving me this. So right, hey, you don't have subscription, so I don't have a subscription, right? So that is one thing. And you can go ahead and also, maybe I want to see all the services from the sidebar. I can go in here, and then you see we have this wonderful kind of thing giving you some stuff. And if I want to see all the services, like some of the resources, I can go in here, and then there is an error happening right here. Let's see if I can go into the all resources. So again, hey, you don't, additional details that it might be okay. So it's trying to give me some kind of stuff, but you click on see all resources, and you should be able to see all the resources that we have here, all the services. So Microsoft Azure give us services that we can use as developers to solve an issue, and one of them, that's what I'm seeing here, app service, function app and everything. So that is how it look like, right? And we're talking about something like Cloud Shell and everything, and then you can see in here, when I click in here, I can launch my Cloud Shell here. So this is what we call the Cloud Shell, right? And this is what, as I said, you can use Bash, you can use PowerShell to interact with your Cloud Shell. And then I don't have any subscription, right? So you don't have a subscription, so you need to create a subscription. So to create a subscription, when you are done with your account, as I said, you follow the steps, and whilst you're creating your account, and it creates a subscription, right? So I'm not going to show you how to create a subscription in here, but you can see we have pay as you go, and then you can go ahead and say that, hey, I want to use the $200 free credit and everything. So it's very easy step. You can try it for free, or you can sign up as a pay as you go. Means that, hey, we charge you based on what you use, right? So the more you are using it, then we charge you. But I'm going to show you how you can optimize it to have a more usage with zero cost, right? You're not going to end up paying a lot, because there is a way to optimize this cloud development thing, right? So that is how Azure look like. If you have a subscription, you'll be able to interact with the Cloud Shell. So when we progress, I'm going to show you my subscription, and then I'll be able to also show you how the Cloud Shell and everything works. So this is also, if you're a student, you'll be having access to some kind of, or you also get some offers, right? So you also get some benefit. So that is one thing. And in here, I have some services that is free, right? We are much interested because as a developer coming into Microsoft Azure for the first time, and you want to find your way around these things, you are not sure of how things work. So you need some free services to try your hands and make your hands dirty as a developer. And this is the free thing to start. So you're gonna get your first $200 credit that you can use to provision some resources, but also you're going to get 12 months free service. Some of the services are going to be available for you in your first 12 months, and some of them are also free, right? Some of them has a free tier on it that whenever you are creating a service or you are doing something with it, you can opt go for the free service, right? So first of all, some of the that include monthly free amount for so virtual machine. So we're going to look into what virtual machine is all about, and this is some of the services. So you can also come into Microsoft Azure slash free services, then you'll be able to see all these things, services that is free for you as a new developer coming into the platform or coming into this cloud service. And it's very awesome that they provide you with a lot of tools, a lot of services to try your hands on as you are coming in for the first time. And it's very awesome. This is the way developer, you can build a solution and use this to try it or use this to host it. It's very easy to make your hands dirty around this. And some services, as I said, app service like there's a free tier on it, where so the services are two. So the service that always include free monthly plan, right? So these services are free. So Agile Functions will mostly have a free stuff that you can stay with. App service also have that free service. So even if you don't have some kind of the fun, right? You have $200. You also have some service that is free for you, which we're going to use some of them in this series, right? So that is good. We're going to use them, and then we're going to show you how app service work, how you can provision stuff, how you can host .NET app and everything. Then we're talking about the Azure developer template, which is very awesome too, right? And there is this website here called the Azure Awesome AZD. We're going to use this very much, and the point is that there is some kind of a template, right? And then you see with this one, just init that, and we will say that, hey, whenever you want to use the Azure Developer CLI, you first say, hey, AZD init, like how you use Git, right? Trying to use this template, and we're going to try some of this template on what this template is all about, right? And it supports a lot of frameworks. So you are not tied to .NET only, right? You can use a lot of them here. So we have Angular, everything that you can use, and our .NET, Django and everything. So that is very awesome. So here you can see let's go back. So here you can see there's frameworks, right? This is the frameworks that you can use, and this is very lovely, and this is very awesome. So this is how mostly it look like, right? So what if you want to use Azure from your terminal? So if you're on Windows, let's learn this one right now. If you're on Windows right now and you go in here, so this is the Windows terminal that I have provisioned in here. And then whenever you check your here, when you click the plus, you see those things, and then you can see here Azure Cloud Shell. So you can also use this to connect to Azure without even going to the portal, right? So here, if I type in N, you say that, hey, you want to log in, right? I say that, okay, yeah, I want to log in. So then this will give me this kind of a link, right? And then it will ask me to enter this code. So the moment you enter this code, it will log in into your Azure for you. So if I enter this code, which I'm not going to do, then it will go and enter, logged in into the Azure account for me. So that is one thing. And if you want to use the Azure CLI, right? If you want to use the Azure CLI, it's something that you need to install. So I'm going to give you a link to this very awesome docs here that helps you to do that, right? So you're gonna do this and then you just install it based on the operating system you are using. And it's very also the Azure CLI is very simple. You do AZ logged in and it will open some kind of web stuff for you, and then you logged in, and then you'll be able to interact with Azure from your local machine. So this is kind of an overview. I'm just giving you an overview. We're gonna practice all of this thing as we progress in this series, right? So we're gonna have a real world scenario feel of how these things works, right? So I'm just giving you the scenario here that hey, there is 2 ways that we can connect into Microsoft Azure, 3 ways. So you have your CLI, you have your portal, and then when you go to the portal, you have your Cloud Shell that you can use, right? So this is how Microsoft, and the web interface is very lovely. I like it, I love it, and it's very stuff. So that is this. So we're gonna look into more services and how this thing works, right? So you can always explore the services, some of the free services in here also that is available for you as a new customer coming into the platform. So this is the second video, and the goal was to introduce you to the Azure Portal, Azure CLI, and Azure Developer CLI and how it works. So by now, I believe you have an understanding on how this thing works. So in next video, we're gonna look into how we can also use something like Dockerize some stuff and then put it into Microsoft Azure. We are going to have fun building this thing. So if you are new to the channel and you want to learn more, you want to learn more about .NET Azure, you want more content about .NET Azure, subscribe to this YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell, so anytime we drop a new video you may receive a notification. So thank you for joining us, and share this content with others so that they can also benefit and keep on watching us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the third video. Bye for now.